So, my name is Brian Bingham, and I'm a director and shareholder of Highlander International Paper Recycling. And we're here today for two or three reasons. The first one is obviously to talk about the partnership that we have with Duncanrig School and the good work that they've been doing, and also just a little bit of prizes of what we've given off, what we've done throughout the year, and also to talk about the partnership, not just with the school but in business, and people are here today not just from schools but from businesses as well. I'd like to start off with a little bit of history of Highlander, who Highlander is and why we're here and how long we've been here and what do we do. Highlander International was set up, and I have to write my dates because I'm not very good with dates here, was set up in 2002, and that was initially from myself when I left school. The only way I had of making money was to drive around an old van and collect waste paper in East Kilbride, and I brought it, believe it or not, into this depot here. And this depot was run by a company called Hanny Waste Paper, and Hanny Waste Paper was one of the biggest paper merchants in the UK at the time, and I never thought for one day that I'd actually be coming in here and running my own business from this depot. Today is about partnership. I've had 3 major partnerships in my life. My first one, believe it or not, was about 30 years ago, and it was with, believe it or not, my wife. And my wife's been very solid with me right all the way through my working career, and she's put up a lot of hours that I've had to put in to get to where we are today. And I couldn't be here without her, so I appreciate that. The second partnership I had was with a young man called Stephen Duffy. And Stephen, if you stand up and let everybody know your face. Yeah. Stephen worked for an organisation called Smurfit Recycling at the time, and they were one of the largest, and you've probably heard them, they're still around today, Smurfit Kappa, they're one of the largest recycling box makers in the world. And it was very young at the time and very naive. But I convinced him through the years that if he left Smurfit and came work with me as a partner, he had a better future. It took about 3 years to convince him, but I think the day came when he had a bad day, decided, do you know what, I'm going to roll the dice and take my chance. So that was my second partnership. My third partnership is a bit kind of related to Duncanrig School. Both my kids went to Duncanrig School, and Lewis, my son, you left about how many years ago? 10 years ago. Well, you'd never think it. And I remember Lewis going in for his interview with his careers advisor, and I was to go along to Duncanrig School and meet the careers advisor and sit down with the careers advisor and say to Lewis, what are you going to do when you leave school? And he just turned around and looked at me and he says, I want to do what my dad does. And the career advisor turned around and looked at me and says, what do you do? And I found it really difficult to actually answer his question. How do you explain you drive around in an old van, jump out skips and collect the waste paper? There's just no title for that. There just isn't. So I says, well, just point me in the direction of any environmental related subjects would be great, you know. This is right, okay, fine. I have a connection also, I should say a partnership with my daughter 2 years behind, who then left Duncanrig School. And my daughter just turned up and said, that's my last day at school. What do I do now, Dad? I says, what do you mean what you do now? I says, you need to tell me what you do. Well, I want to just come and work with you. So, to be fair, she was committed 100%. We just had to find her a job that she liked. So our partnership's now a bit more, obviously, in what we're doing with the local community, what we're doing with the schools, and how can we improve that. And next year we've got a good programme when you come back. What else we're going to do and how we're going to introduce kids into school and from school into businesses, and how do we go about making life a lot easier from when they leave school to coming into businesses. So it is all, for me, environmentally related, but it's also about bringing the kids forward and being confident in what to do with themselves. So on that note, I'm going to hand over to Ingrid.
Yeah. Just to say, I'm delighted to be here today with my colleagues, pupils from Duncanrig. We've got parents, we've even got grandparents here, and we've got ex-pupils who are working now for Brian, so I'm absolutely delighted. I'd like to say we've been working with Brian for over a year now, and we've been involved in so many projects, and if I had to tell you them all in detail, you'd be lucky to get to the buffet by 5 today, so I won't get into a lot of detail. But one thing that we'd like to tell you about was Brian came down to the class one day and he told the pupils really about the Highlander journey, how he got to be so successful. And the kids were sitting goggle-eyed watching him. I'd never seen them sit so quiet before. And then we got into teams, and I took my team and I said, listen, we're going to decorate cupcakes. I said, I want each cupcake to be bespoke. It's got to have a unique selling point and it's got to be absolutely different. And I could hear Brian saying to his team, right guys, standardisation, division of labour, I want each cake to be exactly the same. We're going to sell them in batches and that way we'll sell much more. And this wee cheeky chap said to me, listen Mrs Boyd, no offence, but I'm not doing what you're telling me to do. I'm doing what that millionaire guy is telling them to do. What can I say? What can I say? So on that note, I'll pass you over to Linda Fabiani.
My goodness, that's quite a pair to have to follow. I'd like to just pick up on some of the things that Brian said, because he really hit the nail on the head for me in an awful lot of things. And what I think is happening here between Duncanrig School and Highlander International is something that is of mutual benefit. Because yes, the school is getting helped, it's opening up horizons for people going through school, but it's also helping Brian and Highlander having part of that social responsibility, and it's helping the wider community. So I think East Kilbride can be smart, East Kilbride can be sustainable, and we can give a message out to the rest of Scotland, which can be the same, and show the rest of the world great things that can be done. I think that's the message. We can do it, and we can all do it together. Thank you.
Listen, thanks, Brian, for leaving this gin and tonic behind. One of the projects that Brian got involved in was recycling plastic bottles. We realised in Duncanrig that we went through many plastic bottles. They sell plastic bottles of water in vending machines and there's queues long to get a bottle of water. So we came up with a project and we asked the pupils to design a bin where we could recycle the plastic bottles, and 300 pupils got involved in this project, and out of the 300 we whittled it down to about 50, and then we whittled it down to 10, and Brian had a very strict criteria and he judged the designs looking at the environment and the vision of Highlander. And I'm very pleased to say that it was Caroline Johnson's pupil, who's sitting just right over there, Ayla Beth, who won first prize, and Brian got the bin manufactured. So unfortunately Ayla Beth came today but she had to go home because she's not very well. So I'd like to invite Brian up to present the certificate to Emily Thompson, who'll take it home to her. Okay.
Well done. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Good one.
Okay, so one use is no use project. I want to tell you a wee bit about that. So Duncanrig's Scottish Studies class wanted to leave a positive legacy before they left. With Mr Alan Wilkie, he worked with them. So during their research, they found that 1 million plastic bottles are bought every minute, and 13 million tonnes of plastic leaks into the ocean every year. So this year, 350 Primary 7 pupils joining us in August as our new S1s visited Duncanrig in May for their transition days. So 240 of them visited the art department, and we designed labels for our new refill bottles. The bottles have been kindly donated to us by Brian at Highlander Recycle International, and they can be filled 3 times a day with free chilled water fountains provided in our street area. So a big freshwater thanks to our Scottish Studies class, our head teacher and South Lanarkshire Council, Spey Matthew Hall, and of course Highlander Recycle International. Now our pupils can make a positive difference, so thank you, Mr. Thank you so much.
I spoke earlier on about partnerships, and there's a couple of people I'd like to thank myself before I sit back down again. The first one is South Lanarkshire Council itself, and John, appreciate you coming along today. South Lanarkshire Council has been a big supporter to Highlander since we started here, and they've given us grant aid and help us buying machines, to get the machines in here, and helped us in support of finding the right staff and employing the right staff as well. We've also had a lot of help at the very beginning of the company through Business Gateway, And Ronnie, thanks very much for your assistance at the time, and also the help through Scottish Enterprise. When I was about 25 years old, me and my wife bought a flat, and it was in East Kilbride, up in Westwood, and it was a lady underneath me, very nice old lady, fantastic. May her name was, and she was always very supportive when her kids were growing up and being there to help us whoever needed us. And there was a young girl who used to come in, she had a granddaughter called Lisa, and used to come in to see her every now and again. And this young lady would pop in on her way back from university, and she always wanted to be a doctor. And she was always so polite and always so pleasant. And I always wondered how Lisa got on, and what was her outcome, and how did she... Obviously, unfortunately, we're now 20 years down the road, and we've moved 2 or 3 times since then. And it wasn't until one day I was walking through Straven, and I suddenly seen this name on a wall above a shop. It says, Lisa Cameron MP. And I looked at my wife and I said, no, is that Dr. Lisa Cameron? Is that the same little girl that used to live, whose granny used to live below us? I said, that is the same little girl. I couldn't believe it. So I went and came back, and I googled Lisa Cameron, and here she was with her big smiling face. So I thought, there's no way we can have a day like this without Lisa coming along and telling us now what she's hearing down in Westminster as an MP, from going from a wee girl who just lived down the stairs coming to see her granny to being here today to then tell us what's happening down in Westminster.
It's just an absolute pleasure and privilege to be here for all the reasons that have already been discussed. What you're doing is your bit for the planet, it's your bit for East Kilbride, it's instilling values in future generations who are going to take those goals forward and make sure that our planet survives and make sure that the world survives, because we are in a climate catastrophe just now. When I was travelling to Africa, in particular with the International Development Committee, to find out what was happening, and to my horror I found out that a lot of the plastics we use are just sent to other countries less fortunate and dumped in those countries, and that can't continue. And when you see this firsthand, as Linda had said, man is doing this. We are doing this. It can't go on. We must play our part, and that's why I'm so proud of the partnership that Brian has. Now, I was a pupil at Duncanrig many years ago. You're old school. It's all shiny and new now. I was a pupil at Duncanrig, so it's particularly touching for me today to be here with Brian and Margaret and with Duncanrig. So thank you so much for having me here today and for allowing me to speak. And I am delighted again and privileged as your MP to have said a few words. Thank you.
So one of the big things obviously today was about the art students and how we can relate the environment to art. And I've got to say I was well impressed by all the pictures that the girls and gents came round and put in front of us for the competition. So out of all the entries we had, we put them all up on the wall. Don't have the chance to go up and see them all. They were absolutely fantastic. And I think Gerad had a very difficult choice to actually pick any winners because they were all fantastic. But I'm going to introduce Gerad to come up to the stage just now. Gerad, if you can.
Firstly, thanks to Brian for asking me to come to do this, but promise me you'll never ask me to do it again, because that was a tough shift trying to make a decision for those paintings. The work was absolutely superb. So I have judged these paintings basically on that basis. First of all, in terms of, it's quite difficult to judge them on the basis of the fulfilment of the brief. The brief, I know, was that there should be an environmental element, that there should be an element in terms of the Scotland itself. But I have really focused in on the technique, on the hand skills that have been used, and that's the basis upon which I've gone for first, second and third. But I promise you it was a nightmare. I mean, there could have been a different first, second and third. So we'll do third place first, is Amy Cook. This is a fabulous piece, I have to say. I think this is a really brave wee painting. The handling of the paint, and I was asking your teacher, these have been painted using a combination of tempera, poster paints and so on, which is quite tough. Actually, it's quite an unforgiving medium. So if you get a chance to get up close to this painting, the actual blending skills, the way that she's pushed the paint around, the contrast between the greener areas and the kind of the rocks and so on, it's fabulous. I have to say, I'm really, really impressed with this piece. So keep it up. Well done. The second prize, basically, if you were to judge a painting on its impact, this one stands out from the crowd, I think. Lee Perry. Is Lee not here? She's not here? Okay.
Donated by the Clydesdale Bank.
Okay, so big drum roll, the first prize. So actually this, although I said this one actually, to my mind, does really stand just a wee bit above the rest. First prize was quite an easy decision. I think this is an absolutely superb piece. And in this one, the brushwork is absolutely superb. And again, I would encourage you, if you get a chance, to go and have a close look. So first prize is Jenna McGurn.
I have to say, out of kindness of Gerard's heart, Gerard donated a signed print as first prize. So you're welcome to take this away after you get the photographs taken, but I'll be difficult to grasp it from my hands.
So, listen again, to those who didn't win a prize today, can I just stress again that this was a really, really tough gig. The paintings are absolutely superb, and I'd like to get the chance, before we go, maybe to speak to each of you about your paintings. Each of them are superb in their own way, and there's just some wee bits and pieces maybe I could point out to maybe help you to take it forward a bit.
Can I just say that the paintings for the pupils that didn't come first, second or third prize, I agree with Gerard, I think they're absolutely fantastic. And I would like, if you all agree, that Highlander would like to buy them from you at a price of £45 each. So thanks for all your hard work, very much appreciated. Thank you. So I have a couple of last minute things I'd like to just say before I go. There's a couple of people who are maybe not quite expecting this, but Maurice, I'd like to just bring out a bouquet of flowers and ask Ingrid if she'll come up on the stage. For all the hard work that Ingrid's done. Have a seat, you've done so well.
And it's my birthday as well.
Oh, no way! And another one before I go. Can you bring another bouquet of flowers out? My wife Margaret, would you like to stand up? Give me that. No problem. One last thing, Gerard, can you come up on the stage today? I have a surprise, but this only happened today. And Gerard came to me this morning and said, Brian, I think what you're doing is absolutely amazing, and I'd like to donate an original painting. And I thought, wow, you are having a laugh. If you know the price of Gerard Bond's paintings, believe me, I thought, well, I'll just keep that for myself. But I've got to say, when I started working with the schools and what they do and the amount of work and passion I see through the teachers and the amount of extra time they put in, unpaid time, and you can see in someone that they have passion and what they're trying to put through. Would you like to bring that through? So the painting, Gerard, is donated original. get you bring it up. We usually give it to Gerad. And I'd like to, for all our hard work and our time, unpaid and passion I can see in it, I would like to give this to Ingrid.
Happy birthday to you. Okay.
I can't speak, I can just say thank you very much. Best birthday present ever. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks. So, I'm coming to the end, obviously, of why we're all here. I would like to have an opportunity to say thank you to a few other people. The reception was actually done up by ourselves and from the help of two very talented men who are here today, Ches and Wes. Would you like to stand up, Ches and Wes? Who done the craftsmanship, obviously, of the work, all the materials recycled, all the wood in the reception is recycled, all the tree itself was a yew tree. It came from the forest, it was blown down in a storm. And to be fair, the specialised craftsmanship that these guys put in is phenomenal. So, well done, guys. We would like to invite you all up the stairs for a buffet. And thank you very much, obviously, to the band and music department of, obviously, Duncanrig School, who have brought the band here. And they're going to play some music for us. So, I can give a quick round of applause for the band. So, appreciate that. Very good. And some individual singers afterwards as well. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. And please go upstairs and help yourself.